and this is my entire Taylor Swift vinyl collection. But I'm strange and I'm a collector, so I like to have multiple different ones because I'm weird. It's yellow! Hello, and welcome back to my channel! If you're new here, hi, my name is Rachel. I do lots of Taylor Swift unboxings, vinyl videos, travel vlogs. If that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, it would mean the absolute world if you could like and subscribe. Today, we're going to be doing one of my most highly requested videos. Every single time Taylor Swift releases another vinyl, people want an updated version of this video. And because we've just had the brand new Life of a Showgirl, I thought we might as well do an updated version. And this is my entire Taylor Swift vinyl collection. Now, when I was planning out this video, I tried to write down all of the vinyl variants I think I have, and I think we have around 50. So we have quite a lot to get through. So we're not going to be as in-depth as like my other videos that focus on one particular vinyl. If you want to check those ones out, I have a whole like Taylor Swift vinyl playlist you can check. So this one, we're going to try be quick, but I do get distracted, so we will see how quick I can be. Let's get started. Whenever I've done my vinyl collection video, I've always started off with debut and then gone up from debut, but I think we're gonna do the opposite this time, because when I start off with debut, and obviously it's always kind of gonna be the same every single time, I then get to the later ones that are the more exciting ones, and then I kind of rush through them because I'm like, we're near the end of the video. So we're gonna actually start off with the most recent and go down to debut. I don't know how well this will work, I just think this will work better because I'll have more energy for the first ones, which are the most exciting ones and the newest parts of my collection. So, without further ado, these are my Life of a Showgirl vinyl variants. So I do have all 8 of these. I have done a full unboxing on them. I've also done an unboxing on the deluxe CDs, the standard CDs, the acoustic CDs. So if you want to check that out, I have a whole Life of a Showgirl playlist as well. But anyway, let's get started with the standard variant of this, which is the Sweat and Vanilla Perfume edition. I'm looking for it. I cannot see her. Where is she? We have just taken her off my wall, so she can't have gone far. It's this one. Favorite part of doing these vinyl collection videos is you have to like unsleeve them and everything. So, and then not only do you have to unsleeve them, you then have to re-sleeve them afterwards, which takes a long time. You'd be surprised. Anyway, this is the standard edition of the Life of a Showgirl. This is the Portofino orange vinyl. It is the transparent orange with gold glitter one. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's slightly different than your standard gatefold because you open it up like this, but then you've also got this little bit there that has a poem. You've got 2 different poems in this. You've got the Sweat and Vanilla Perfume poem, which is exclusive to this vinyl variant, but also the CDs of the Sweat and Vanilla Perfume, but also interestingly the acoustic CDs for anyone who cares. But yeah, it's slightly different than your standard one, and rather than the record actually being here or like there or whatever, it actually comes out from this bit. So much attention to detail has been put into these vinyl as well. Like even there has like the orange glitter. This is what this looks like. So you've got this gorgeous little bit here, like a gatefold almost on the inner sleeve, which I love. With all the lyrics. Then this is where the vinyl is stored. The vinyl itself is absolutely stunning as well. And I think it's so great to have such a stunning vinyl for your standard pressing, because especially with Taylor's earlier albums, the standard pressing is just that plain black. And while some people don't mind that, as a collector, I absolutely love it when we have more exciting ones for the standard pressings, and when they're all kind of the same price as well, so people don't have to pay like extra just to get a cool pressing. I think the fact this is the one that you can get in stores is very, very cool, and I think it represents the album very well. I really, really love the colours of it. I think it looks absolutely stunning. And honestly, of all the Showgirl variants, I do think it's one of the best, which is pretty rare because sometimes, you know, if you do have a standard version, then maybe it won't be as exciting, but I think this one really is. So we're going to pop her back in her little sleeve. And then we have the next 2 variants of the Life of a Showgirl. These are the Shiny Bug editions. As you can see, the covers for this are very, very similar. It is pretty much the exact same cover. However, the text on it is different depending on which variant you get, the colour of the text. So you've got the Wintergreen and Onyx, and then you've got the Violet Shimmer. This is the Wintergreen and Onyx. So the text on this is like, you know, a wintergreen. So that's the front cover, that's the back. The back cover is also different on each of the different variants, which I love. And you also have different pictures inside, which is also fantastic. In this one, you've got the standard poem that's in all the editions, and then you've got the Shiny Bug exclusive poem that's only in these 2 different variants. And then in the top, you've then got the inner sleeve with this gorgeous picture of Taylor. She looks fantastic. Then you've got the lyrics there with a different picture of Taylor, and then the actual record itself. This is a stunning record. It's a slightly marbled one with this really, really gorgeous green colour. It's very kind of similar to the Midnights vinyl. If I had to compare it to any of Taylor's other vinyl, I would compare it probably to the Jade Green. This I could imagine being the Midnights vinyl out of any of them anyway. So I do really, really like this. I think it is a gorgeous pressing, so you can just see there. And obviously because it's a marble vinyl, everyone's will look slightly different. That's the beauty of vinyl. With some of these like more interesting pressings, like marbled or splattered or whatever, like they are different depending on which one you get, you know. Everyone's is going to be unique, and I really love that about them. I just think it makes it more fun, because when you get to open it, you get to see if it looks really cool or slightly questionable sometimes, which I think is fun. Some people might not think it's fun. I think it's fun. And then we also have the Violet Shimmer one as well for this. So very, very similar in terms of the cover. All the pictures inside are the same. I would have liked it if the pictures were different, if I was going to be completely like critical, which I'm probably overly critical, because like I do like this. I like the fact we have different covers, even though these are very similar, the text is different. So for me personally, I really like that. Then on the back, the text is also the violet colour for this, but the photos inside are the same, as you can see, with the same poem. And then you've got the gorgeous vinyl for this one. So this one is this Violet Shimmer. It is a stunning one. If I had to compare this to one, it would be kind of the Speak Now TV, because it's slightly marbled with some like gold on there. It looks really, really great with the glitter, which you can just about see. There is another pressing which I'll show you next, which is also a glittery one where you can see the glitter a bit better. This one you can't see it that well on the actual camera, but you very much can see it in person. But yeah, it is a really, really stunning pressing, and I think all of these, out of all of the Taylor vinyl pressings I have, I would say this is actually my favourite collection of them. I think the colours are fantastic. I think after this we'll get on to Tortured Poets Department, and while I love that album and I love how on brand all the packaging and everything is, it's not my favourite vinyl kind of packaging with all of them, just because obviously it's very beige and white, whereas this is very colourful, and I'm someone who really, really likes very, very colourful vinyl. I just think it makes it more fun, especially when you're a collector. But those two are the Shiny Bug variant, and then we have the Baby That's Show Business variant. That one's upside down. We have the Baby That's Show Business variant. So these are what these ones look like. I'll show you the Lovely Bouquet one first. This is a splatter vinyl, which is so cool. Actually, my first ever splatter vinyl. So that's what it looks like on the front. Gorgeous picture of Taylor, different photos inside as well, more photos there, and then you also have the Baby It's Show Business poem, and then the standard poem that you guessed it is in on all the different variants. And then we have the stunning vinyl itself. So this is what that looks like there, the lyrics inside, and then you've got, I love that picture of Taylor, and also Taylor must love it because it's on a lot of merch. It is a great picture. And then you've got this Lovely Bouquet, stunning splatter vinyl. I mean, it looks great. I'd say it's slightly more yellow in person than it is showing up on camera here, but yeah, it is really, really nice. So it's that yellow with like the red splatter in the middle. You've also got a little like dark bits as well. Like I just think it really, really adds to it, and I really think this is a stunning pressing, and I just think all of them are so different, but they also represent the album just so perfectly as well. So I do really, really like these. I think they're very, very cool. So that's the Lovely Bouquet version, and then we also have the, I think it's the Lakeside Beach Blue. It's the only one where I keep forgetting the name of it, because they all have like slightly different names. And when we get to maybe some of the older ones, I'm going to forget some of the names, because this is obviously the most recent album, so I kind of remember these names slightly better. But for some of those Tortured Poets ones, I'm like, am I going to remember these? I don't think so. But I think this is the Lakeside Beach Blue. As I said, same photos inside. The variant, so each variant duo has different photos in terms of a different cover, blah, blah, blah. But then the duos themselves have the same photos inside. I think I worded that absolutely horrendously, but pretend you understood. This I think is the sparkliest of all of them. You can really see the difference between this one I think and the Violet Shimmer. I personally prefer this one, even though I thought the Violet Shimmer one was going to be my favourite. This is probably my second favourite of all the Showgirl vinyl variants. I think it's just stunning. Again, kind of very Midnights with like the blue. You've also got a bit of like darker marbling in there, but the sparkles on it are fantastic. They just look really good. It blends so well, and yeah, I think it looks absolutely stunning. I really, really love this pressing. This one, I was like, I'm kind of looking forward to, but I thought, you know, I probably am going to like the Violet Shimmer one the most, but I would honestly say I prefer this to it, which is surprising because blue isn't like my favourite colour, whereas I really, really like purple. Pink is my all-time favourite colour, but like purple is very much up there. But yeah, I prefer this one unbelievably. I just think it's such a nice pressing that it's a lot of fun to just kind of stare at. And then we have the last of the duos. So these are the Tiny Bubbles in Champagne duos. These are the covers of that. Absolutely love this cover. I think this may be my favourite cover of all of them, just because it's very kind of like Satine from Moulin Rouge, and if you know me, you'll know I love Moulin Rouge. It's one of my favourite musicals ever. So that's the front cover, back cover. She looks great on that back cover as well. And this is the red lipstick and lace version, so you've got a different photo of Taylor inside of there. More photos of Taylor there. You've got the Tiny Bubbles in Champagne poem, and then the standard poem that's in all the different variants, and then the vinyl itself. And if you watch my unboxing of this particular one, I did say this was probably my least favourite of all the pressings for Life for Showgirl. If I had to compare them, obviously, like, you always have to have a favourite and a least favourite. This one probably would be my personal least favourite. I think because it's like a clear vinyl with the splatter, I just personally didn't vibe with that as much, like just in terms of how I, like, just my own personal opinion, whereas some people this is their favourite. I do kind of like it though because it's transparent. You've obviously got those gaps in it where the splatter obviously doesn't cover, so it kind of looks like lace-ish a little bit, so I do actually really, really like that. I think that's quite a cool effect. However, it's still probably my least favourite just because I think the other ones are slightly better. In my personal opinion, but as I said, some people this is their favourites, and I think that's what's so great about Taylor vinyl variants and stuff. Also, I love this picture. She looks very kind of like red, OG red Taylor there. Everyone has different opinions, you know, on what their favourite like cover is, what their favourite vinyl colour is. I was like, what is the word? Like, everyone has different opinions on that, and I think that's what makes vinyl collecting so much fun, is that everyone doesn't have the same opinion, and that's a good thing. So then we have the next one, same thing in terms of the pictures inside. This is the Under Bright Lights pearlescent vinyl, and this is a weird vinyl. Now, not weird bad, but weird intriguing, because obviously this is the Tiny Bubbles in Champagne variant, and my goodness, does this look like bubbles. It's really weird, and in some lightings it's slightly yellow as well. It's got a bit of a yellow tint to it. It's so cool. Like, it looks like it's got little bubbles inside. It's intriguing. Like, I still don't know how I feel about it, because when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I like it, but it makes me feel a weird way. So it is quite a cool one, though. I think the effect of this is so fun, and I love that we've got so many different effects. I don't even know what you would call this particular vinyl style. I mean, one of you will know, like, is it just pearlescent? I feel like the pearlescent is like the finish of it, like sort of the shiny sort of white with the yellow tint. I don't know what the bubbles are. I don't know what kind of like particular style of vinyl that is, so if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. But it is cool. I've never had a vinyl quite like it before. I've never even seen one like it before, so it is really, really awesome, even if it is a little bit weird. And they are the Tiny Bubbles in Champagne variant. And last but certainly not least, for the Life for Showgirl vinyl variants, we have the stunning The Crowd Is Your King variant. This is the Target exclusive if you live in the US. I live in the UK, and I got this from Taylor Swift's online store, and for all of these I did actually get them from Taylor Swift's online store. Lots of people have asked how I managed to do it, because for some stores like the EU store, they sold out pretty much straight away. With some of these, they were actually available on the UK store for up to an hour. I have been accused of using a bot and creating a bot to try get them. I'm honoured you think I'm that technical. I wouldn't even know where to start. I just wouldn't do that in the first place, but I wouldn't even know how to. So I can confirm I literally did I was just on the website and just refreshed. and was just speedy. That's it. I'm sorry to disappoint that the answer's not more exciting, but yeah, so this is the front of the Crowd Is Your King. This variant is also probably one of the like more pressed ones. So with the ones excluding the Sweat and Vanilla Perfume, the standard cover, they were described as the first and only pressing of them. Technically they could re-release them, you know, because they didn't say first and only release, they said first and only pressing, and that wording is obviously very intentional. So maybe they pressed 1 million at once and they only released 50,000 at one go. Obviously these are just made up numbers, I have no idea what the actual numbers are, but in theory that's something they could have done. Now for some places they can't do that because they described it as limited. I believe people in Australia have said that because they described it as limited it can't come back in stock, but for other places it could in theory come back in stock, but just to let you know about that. But this one was relatively easy to get. It was in stock for like well over a week, whereas the other ones were far more limited. So yeah, this one was pretty easy to get here in the UK. Obviously the UK store usually is quite lucky in terms of the levels of stock, apart from with the size CDs, but other things it tends to get quite a lot of stock. So this has the Crowd Is Your King poem and then also the standard poem, and this one is a slightly different gatefold style. So as you can see, you can actually see the vinyl underneath there, which is slightly different. It's got like a peekaboo, which I think is quite cool. You've then got a very large double-sided poster, which I'm not going to unfold because it takes ages to fold back up, but you've got a very, very big one. As you can see just from the like how it's folded right now, it's massive. And then you've also got the vinyl variant itself. So that's the photo there. Another photo of Taylor looking absolutely gorgeous. A black and white one, which is interesting because the rest of them haven't really been black and white. And then my favourite pressing actually of all of them is this pink Summertime Spritz. I think that's what it's called. Pressing, I think it's gorgeous. I love the pink with like, again, the slight yellow tint in certain lighting. It's slightly marbled, you've got that glitter as well. I just think it is such a stunning pressing. So for me personally, this is probably actually my favourite Taylor vinyl pressing ever. In the past I have said that the Speak Now Taylor's version ones were like my favourite vinyl pressings from Taylor, but I think this one has topped it just because I love pink so much. And while I loved the Lover pink one, it just wasn't, it's not like this because it's just a standard opaque one. I really like it when there's a bit of something, you know what I mean, when you've got a little bit of marbling, or obviously with this one a little bit of glitter, because I absolutely love glitter. Glitter's my favourite colour. If glitter was a colour, glitter's my favourite colour. So I do really, really adore this. I think it's such a stunning pressing. And with all of these are not Torture Poets department. This is not the Torture Poets department. We'll get to her. With all of these Life for Showgirl vinyl variants, the packaging is noticeably better than a lot of other vinyl variants, not even from Taylor but from other artists as well. Like just the finish on it, it's got this shiny finish. So much effort has been put into every single part of this vinyl, apart from the fact I can't get this poster back in. There we go, that was on me. But so much effort has been put into these pressings that it is really noticeable as a fan. Like just to see the finish on that, I think it is really, really gorgeous. So I'm very grateful that I managed to get all of these because I do really, really like them. Anyway, next up, as I kept saying randomly, I still get confused with the Torture Poets department and the Life of a Showgirl. I think it's the fact they both begin with the. It confuses me for some reason. But anyway, next up we're going for the Torture Poets department. So let's get started with that. Next up we have the Torture Poets department. So we're going to start off with the standard version of this. Now with the Life of Showgirl, all tracks in every single of those 8 vinyl variants were the same. So they all included the tracks, wait, let me read them all out. The Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, Opalite, Father Figure, Eldest Daughter, Ruin the Friendship, Actually Romantic, Wishlist, Wood, Cancelled Honey, and The Life of a Showgirl. Whereas with these ones, the Torture Poets department, they feature different tracks, which I'll read out. So this is the manuscript version. So this is the standard version that you're going to find in shops. But with these, they pretty much all came to shops. Whereas with the Life of Showgirl, they didn't all come to shops. In terms of in the UK, only the Sweat and Vanilla Perfume like officially came to shops. So this is the cover of that, is the cover you'll recognise from streaming, the manuscript, and this is the ghosted white vinyl version. So there are actually 2 different versions with this cover, which we'll get to, but this vinyl is thick. As you can see there, it is a thick vinyl, and there's a reason for that. It's because this one has a book-bound jacket, and this is what I love so much about Taylor's vinyl, is each of them are so different and so much effort has been put into them, and I think you can really tell more so recently how much time and dedication has been put into them, because with some of the older albums, this gatefold bit has just been the lyric booklet reworked to fit the vinyl format, whereas this has been made just for vinyl. So I really love that. So first up, you start off with a poem there. So this is the poem by Stevie Nicks, the introductory poem, and then you've got this book-bound jacket, and in this book-bound jacket you've got the lyrics. So these are the lyrics to the, you know, the album. So we'll just show you this here, and also the pages are nice. And what I love about this is the pictures inside are also all different in all of the different variants. So we'll just briefly show you those. The Torture Post Department has such a stunning photo shoot as well, and you also have different handwritten lyrics throughout. A lot of effort was put into this vinyl, and you can really tell as I show you the different ones as well. So trying not to give myself a paper cut because I'm like holding this at a weird angle, but yeah, if you want to see a more in-depth unboxing of this one, I have done unboxings of this when I first got it. So yeah, as you can see, there we go. And then for the final bit, this is the manuscript. The manuscript is obviously the additional track that's on this version that's not on the other versions, and that is handwritten. Now when I say handwritten, I don't mean Taylor handwrote it for every single person's vinyl, as in she wrote it once on a piece of paper and it was scanned and put onto this. Some people have been confused before. And then on the back you then have the handwritten like summary poem by Taylor Swift. There you go. And then for this you've got 2 LP inside. The LP are exactly the same in terms of the colour, and you've got the handwritten lyrics there for Fortnite on this one with the manuscript version, and it's like a file. And you'll be able to see what I mean here. While it's stunning and while it fits very well with the theme of the Torture Pose Department, it is just, you know, an opaque white vinyl, and it is stunning, it is. But for me personally, as someone who just loves bright colours, it wasn't the most exciting, whilst also like liking it at the same time. Like, you recognise why it's the way that it is, and it's cool that it's the way that it is, but for you just kind of prefer different ones, and that's okay. This is not me saying I don't like the Torture Pose Department, because I do. I love the Torture Pose Department. And then you've also got the handwritten lyrics there for So Long London, and then you've got a photo of Taylor, and the vinyl is the same, so I'll say showing you that. But that's what that looks like. And I actually have 2 versions of this, and there is a reason for that. I have the exact 2. So I have 2 of the Ghosted White. This one is still sealed. The reason I have this is because I pre-ordered the album, and I pre-ordered the vinyl and the CD and the cassette, blah blah blah. And then they released the signed versions, and I forgot to cancel this one. So I just never opened it. Yeah, so I just have a random sealed one that is exactly the same. Now most of these I always argue, like when I have different variants, I'm like, they're different, it's not exactly the same. Whereas some of them I do just have exactly the same. But the reason why this one is sealed is because this one came afterwards. So I did open this one because this one had the actual signed photo in, which I'll show you. So this is the signed photo I got with my vinyl. So that is the stunning picture of Taylor, and then the signature. There were actually 2 different signed vinyl versions released. You had either this one, if you got it in the first lot of signed things for Torture Pose Department, but if you got the later signed versions, you got the signed CD insert with the vinyl rather than just having the signed vinyl insert. Didn't like that as much, I guess. I think I like it when you buy a vinyl and you get a specific insert for that vinyl rather than just getting extras of the CDs. But again, it is great that Taylor signed these all for us, so I do respect that. But yeah, I feel very lucky that I managed to get the signed vinyl. There we go. So that is the Ghosted White version, and as I said, I have 2, and I've explained that, and yes. Top tip, just remember to cancel them. You can usually cancel your orders. The UK store is pretty, like, usually very good with cancelling orders. I was just silly and forgot. Don't do with me. So that's the Ghosted White. We'll just pop her to the side, and then we have, this is pretty much exactly the same, but the vinyl inside is different. This is the Phantom Clear, so this is the Target version. This is the version you get at Target. Obviously, I don't live in the US, so I didn't get it at Target. I got it, I think I may have got this one from HMV on release day, perhaps, because I do like to go to HMV on release day to buy the actual record, because I really like that. I'm not going to show you the entire like book-bound jacket in this, just because it is exactly the same. Same for the inserts as well. These are all exactly the same, so I won't show you these in any detail, but I will show you the record. As you can see, it's a clear record. It's kind of like the Lakes, but obviously with clear records, because you obviously have to have these grooves so you can play the music, it's not completely transparent. So this bit on the middle where it doesn't play is like pretty much completely transparent. It does have a couple lines, obviously, just because that's how vinyl are. But the grooves, so this bit, which is the bit you don't want to touch, they obviously make it so it's not completely transparent. But it does still look quite cool, so I do quite like it. So I'll just pop you back in there and close her up. But yeah, very, very similar to that. And with the Target pressings, you can get them in the UK. So as I said, you can get this from Taylor Swift's online store, and I'm pretty sure you get it in HMV, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, you could definitely get it on Taylor Swift's online store. And it's only if it's the Target red pressing that they then don't release it officially in the UK. I don't know the full reasons for that. It's probably because Target owns like that particular red colour vinyl, like copyright, I don't know. But yeah, for the rest of them, you can just get the Target editions. I do just call it the Target edition because that's just kind of like how it's known in the fandom. But obviously, again, I didn't get these from Target because I don't live in America. And then we have the next 4 kind of like standard-ish editions. Oh, I didn't read you the track list. Whoops. We'll read you the track list. So what's included on the manuscript? So on side A, you've got Fortnite featuring Post Malone, The Torture Post Department, My Boy Only Bakes His Favourite Toys and Down Bad. Side B, So Long London, But Daddy I Love Him, Fresh Out the Slammer, Florida featuring Florence and the Machine. Side C, so on the next disc, Guilty as Sin, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can, and LOML. Then side D, I Could Do It With a Broken Heart, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, The Alchemy, Clara Bow, and then the bonus track on this one is the manuscript. So for all 3 of those versions I just showed you, the bonus track is the manuscript. It includes the manuscript. But with these next ones, these don't include the manuscript, they include different bonus tracks. So this particular one is the Albatross variant, and the bonus track on this one is the Albatross. So it features all the same songs from Fortnite through to Clara Bow, but you have the bonus track of the Albatross. So this is the front cover, back cover. Open her up. You've got a book-bound jacket. Same introductory poem by Taylor Swift. No, it's by Stevie Nicks. We're trying to get through this too quickly, but then you've got the lyric booklet, and as you can see, it is different inside, which I really, really like. Like, the pictures are different, the colour of it's all different. I just think that shows effort, and I like that. I really, really like that. I think it's just, I don't know. It was very, very satisfying. So yeah, you've got different like handwritten lyrics inside too. Just, it's such a great record. And I mean, the album itself I absolutely adore. I think the Torture Post one is just such a good album. Again, we're still trying to avoid those paper cuts. We're doing quite well so far. And then on this last page, you've then got the handwritten lyrics there for the Albatross. And then you also have the handwritten summary poem by Taylor Swift. And then we have the inner sleeve. So on one of the inner sleeves, it's got the handwritten lyrics for But Daddy I Love Him, and then on the other side, it's like that file with a random picture of Taylor in the studio. Then you've got this. So that is the actual record. It's more grey in person. It definitely looks a lot bluer on. This is probably more accurate what it looks like. I think it looked very blue up close. But yeah, it's a bluey grey. And it is an opaque vinyl. For me, mine isn't marbled. Some people, I think for some of theirs, I think with the parchment beige at least, theirs was slightly marbled. Sometimes that does just happen depending on where it's made. But it's not advertised as marbled, so officially it's not marbled. And then you've got The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, the handwritten lyrics, and then another picture of Taylor on the bottom of that. And then again, it's the same colour variant, so I'll save showing you the full bit of that. So that's the Albatross variant. And then we have the, this. So this one is the Bolter variant. I was like, which one is it? It's the Bolter. So this is the Bolter front cover, the Bolter back cover. You've got all the same tracks, Fortnite through Clara Bow, and the bonus track is the Bolter. Same thing where you've got, you know, we get the drift by now. We only have one more of these kind of go through that are like pretty much exactly the same, but they're different, but they're the same but different. So you've got this book bound jacket. Again, the like colour of the pages is different to match the particular variant. Then you've got all these different photos, and she could do this with this because there were so many photos for the Torture Post Department photo shoot, and I think it is such a stunning photo shoot, so very well themed as well. Same with Life of a Showgirl and Midnight. I think her albums have such great photo shoots, and a lot of them are very underrated. My personal favourite did used to be the original versions of Red, that photo shoot, but I fear Life of a Showgirl may have replaced it, but maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll keep going through this just so you can see all the different pages. But again, if you want to see it in any detail, watch my actual Torture Post Department one. We're still going. We're still going. There's just so many tracks on this, and this isn't even the full version. This isn't even the full album, guys. And then we've got the handwritten lyrics there for the Bolter, and then you've got the summary poem by Taylor Swift on the back there with a different photograph. And then inside, you've got the handwritten lyrics for the Tortured Poets department, and then a photo of Taylor there, and then you've got this parchment beige vinyl. Out of the 4 original, this is probably my favourite. I do really like the colour of this one. It's slightly more warm toned, I'd say, in person compared to on camera. I always try to show like an accurate representation of what it looks like, but sometimes the camera doesn't want me to show you that. But it's slightly more warm toned on camera than it is appearing. But I really like this one. I think it is a gorgeous pressing, so I do like this. So that's one of them, and because obviously there are a lot of tracks on this album, and the album is quite long in terms of the songs as well, it's got 2 LP, and then you've got Florida featuring Florence and the Machine, and because it's featuring Florence on the Machine, you've got it on both sides. You've also then got Florence's handwriting on this as well, and then that's what the LP looks like inside. And then last but not least, for these kind of standard versions, these are the versions you can get very easily in shops, we have the Black Dog. So this includes all the tracks from Fortnight through to Clara Bow, with the bonus track being the Black Dog. Out of the 4 different bonus tracks on these versions, I would say this is my personal favourite. I love the Black Dog, it's such a great song. So yes, you have the introductory poem by Stevie Nicks, and then you got these gorgeous pages here. The Black Dog is one of my favourites on Tortured Poets. I also love I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, and then we'll get to the anthology in a second as well, because I adore the anthology. Keep turning those pages, we'll get there in the end. We'll get there, but as you can see, there's just so many different photographs from this photo shoot that they could do this. You know, they could have so many different book-bound jacket photographs. So it's still there, Clara Bow, and then we've got the handwritten lyrics there for the Black Dog, and then you've finally got the summary poem by Taylor. Now this is described as an ink black. Now, look, I understand that ink is slightly brown sometimes when you put it on the page or whatever. I don't use actual ink pens. I use like biros, but they're not like, you know, like fountain pens like Cool Ink. This one is like jammed in. We're gonna have to make sure she's safe. She's good. I was like, I could not get this out. So you got this picture of Taylor, and then on the back you've got the lyrics for The Alchemy. This is the ink black. As you can see, it's slightly brown. Like, I'm glad it's slightly brown, because if it wasn't slightly brown, then it was gonna look very similar to just the plain kind of standard black pressing, which, as I've said earlier in this video, I don't like as much. But yeah, she's an ink black. It's accurate, you know? It's got that slightly brown tint to it. So that's that one, and then the next one, because obviously you've got 2 LP inside, you've got the Who's Afraid of Little Old Me handwritten lyrics with the same kind of slightly brown tinted black vinyl, and that is the Black Dog. And then we have the anthology. So the anthology was released later. The Tortured Poets department was released in April. All 5 of those previous records I showed you, they were all released in April of 2024. This was released Black Friday, so like November 2024, and this includes all of the tracks for the Tortured Poets department, because there was a lot of controversy when the album was like, well, the pre-orders for the albums were going out, and like different versions had different songs, because people were like, I'm not gonna be able to hear all the different songs because I don't want to buy all the vinyl variants. And then 2 hours after the album came out, she put them all on streaming anyway. But yeah, this is the anthology, so it includes all of those anthology tracks that she released at 2 AM on the album release day. Obviously 2 AM Eastern. If you lived in the UK, it came out at 7 AM, which was quite nice, but I was already up at 5, so I was shattered. But this is the anthology, so this is what it looks like. You don't have the book-bound jacket in this one. However, if I was going to recommend any of the Tortured Poets department records, I would recommend this one. I think this one is slightly more expensive, so I think it's more like £60-ish, whereas they're probably like 30-ish, 35, because it's got 4 LP inside, because obviously you've got so many tracks. So this, you've got all of those previous tracks I mentioned, so you've got Fortnight through Clara Bow, you've then got the Black Dog, I'm Gonna Get You Back, the Albatross, Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, How Did It End in So High School, I Hate It Here, Thank You Amy, I Look in People's Windows, The Prophecy, Cassandra, Peter, The Bolter, Robin, The Manuscript, and then you've also got Fortnight, the acoustic version, Down Bad, the acoustic version, But Daddy I Love Him acoustic version, A Guilty as Sin acoustic version. Now, I have said this before and I will say it again, I don't particularly like the acoustic versions that are included with the Torture Poets department because they are the exact same vocals with different backings, so they're almost remixes, so I don't like them as much. However, they did change that for the Life of Showgirl with the acoustic versions for that because they do have different vocals for it, which I love. Anyway, this is one vinyl variant you have in this. Obviously it's a lot clearer and yeah, it's transparent, it's not opaque like the other ones, but it is again really gorgeous. They have so many, like obviously there are 4 different LP in this, and I love the fact that the 4 LP are different, because sometimes you get it where if there's more than one like actual LP inside, you end up like with the same one just over and over, like the same colour like you did with Torture Poets department there. But I think it's more fun when there are different variants. Even if it makes it slightly more expensive, I just think it's slightly more fun. But we'll talk more about that when we get to one of the Taylor's versions. Also, I have 2 of this. The reason is because I had a faulty one. So I'm actually showing you the faulty one right now. It's because it had a little bit of paper from the inner bit pressed into it, so it's actually pressed into it. So I contacted the store and they sent me out a replacement. So I have 2 of these. But the replacement's still in the sleeve, so well, it's not in the sleeve, like I've unboxed it, but it's still in the inner, like the outer sleeve that I put it in. So if I can save myself re-sleeving one, I will, because it is pretty much exactly the same, but it just doesn't have a fault, which is very, very nice. So they are the first 2, and you've got the photographs on there as well. This doesn't have the handwritten lyrics, so it's got a photograph of Taylor, and then it's got the lyrics to the song that are included on that like LP inside that particular version. So we'll just pop you back inside. And then we have the next 2, and it also includes a little poster as well. And another reason why I also got a replacement is because my poster was slightly damaged. You know, for some people it's like it's not a big deal, but this was like a £60 vinyl. Like, I was gonna say if there was any issues with it. And the Taylor Swift store has been very, very good in terms of replacing things when I've had issues, so like I can't complain. So again, another picture of Taylor, then the lyrics, and then that's what it looks like. This is probably my favourite, I think, out of all of them, and I love the fact that they're marbled too, just because I think it represents the album better than, say, not marbled. I just think it's kind of like smoky, and it just feels very like, I don't know, I don't know how to word what I mean, but hopefully you guys get me. This one though is a disappointing marbled, because it's, you know, sort of a transparency-ish, and then you got that marble, that's it. Yes, you're gonna have to squint to see that marbling. You've got ever so slight marbling there, but for half of the vinyl there is absolutely nothing, and the other half has a smidge. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes vinyl collecting fun, because sometimes you get the most beautiful marble variants ever, and then you get some that have the teeniest, tiniest bit of marbling ever. You wonder if they could even call it marbling at that point. But that's what makes it fun, and that's what we like so much about it. So yeah, as I said, I have 2 versions of that, and that is literally just because one of them was faulty. Again, if you have any faults, complain. It doesn't make you a Karen. Like, I've never been rude about it. You're just like, hey guys, there is an issue with this thing, send them a photo, and then they'll let you know what they can do. Sometimes they'll send you out for replacement, sometimes you have to send back one. With this, they just sent me out a full replacement, because obviously it's not like a limited or rare one or anything. This was available also in shops, so it wasn't like difficult to get. So that's probably why they just sent out a full replacement rather than me having to return it. Whereas if it was a limited one, or the fault wasn't that extreme, they would either offer me a little bit of a refund, or I could return it for a full refund. But yeah, it does slightly vary depending on what the fault is with the thing you have. Last but not least, we have the Record Store Day. So this is the Record Store Day 2025 release. It is the Fortnite 7-inch featuring Post Malone. On side A, you've got Fortnite featuring Post Malone. Side B, you've got Fortnite featuring Post Malone, the Blondish remix. I will admit, I do wish it had Fortnite, maybe the live version from the Eras tour on instead. Obviously, it wouldn't have matched up. Like, I don't... We didn't have a professional recording of it, I don't think. I don't think one's been released as of time of recording. It's like fair enough, but like for me personally, I would have liked that. If I could pick, in a perfect world, if I could pick, then I would have done that. But it is gorgeous. I love the inner sleeve for this. Sometimes with 7-inch inner sleeves, they're just plain white, whereas this one, it has like the lyrics saying, I love you, it's raining in my life all over. And this is just a 7-inch, so obviously it's teeny tiny. This is what it looks like. She's teeny. There you go. And it's just got obviously 2 songs. Like, 7-inch vinyl are mainly for collectors. You know, most people aren't buying a 7-inch vinyl just to listen to the song, because most of the times you can just listen to the song on the full LP. But yeah, They are very fun to collect, and obviously because it's a record store day, it's slightly more rare, but there were a lot of these pressed worldwide. They never actually revealed how many were pressed worldwide, whereas with most record store days they do, but with this one they didn't. But yeah, it wasn't that difficult to get depending on where you tried to get it. Some record stores had loads, some record stores hardly had any. It just really varies. But yeah, it is a cute little one to have in my little Torture Pose department collection. And they are all of my Torture Pose department ones. And now we're going to go on to Midnights. And we're back with Midnights. Midnights! I love Midnights. Midnights is one of my favourite Taylor Swift albums. It's so good. When Midnights came out, people were like, oh my god, I miss Evermore, I miss Folklore. Go listen to them. But also listen to... Midnights is so good. It is aged like fine wine. It is such a good album. I'm sorry, I absolutely adore Midnights. My only complaint about Midnights is that we still do not have a vinyl or CD with all of the different songs on it. And some of my favourite songs are on like the 3am version. I will forever love What If Could Have Should Have. It's such a good song. Okay, anyway. Let's get started. So Midnights, we have the Moonstone Blue version. This is the Moonstone Blue, and whenever people ask like, oh, I've just got into Taylor Swift vinyl collecting, what vinyl should I get? Midnights. Any of the Midnights variants, apart from Midnights Mahogany, which we'll get to, this is my favourite. This, I think these records, like just the collection of the Midnights records, are so good. Not just because of the LP themselves, but because of the whole vinyl package. I mean, you look at this, you open this gatefold up, and it's so good. And I think, again, especially when we get to these older ones, you're going to be able to see what I mean here, but this is made for vinyl. I think from Reputation onwards, they really put so much effort into vinyl, and I get it, obviously vinyl weren't big before then, that's kind of why. But so much effort has been put into this, and that's why I just love it so much. So we have obviously this is the back cover, and yes, Midnights is the one that makes the clock on the back. I have always said I do wish they had a version that had a full clock on the back. They do on CD, so we get the CD, I can show you. So for Midnights the Late Night Edition, there is a CD that has all of it, but there is no Late Night Edition on vinyl. There's also no physical version of Till Dawn. Till Dawn is the streaming version with like Karma and Ice Spice, I think, and whatever. Like it's very confusing. There's so many different versions of Midnights, but yeah, we don't have a full version on vinyl. But yeah, anyway, this is then what the little inner sleeve looks like, and it is gorgeous. And this is the Moonstone Blue. This is technically a marbled one, but we have a very, very questionable marbling where that's it. But it is a gorgeous pressing. I love the fact the inner bit is a clock. It just works so well. And before The Life of a Showgirl, this was probably my favourite kind of like Taylor vinyl collection, just because I think it's so cleverly done. And with other Taylor vinyl, you either have like the lyrics on either the inner sleeves or you have it on the gatefold, whereas with this one, it has a whole separate lyric booklet, which I think is so cool because like, that's awesome because it's just so forgotten about. You know, they often don't do lyric booklets in vinyl. You either get them on the inner sleeve or like sometimes you can just not get the lyrics at all, whereas this has a whole separate lyric booklet, which is so cool. So it's got the lyrics in there, we got the pictures, there you go, and I love the Midnights photo shoot. It's so good, and I just love the fact that we have the lyric booklet. It's rare you get this, so I get very excited about it. But anyway, this is just the standard version of Midnights. Obviously, you'll recognise this cover as just this standard cover for it. The tracks on this are on side A, Lavender Haze, Maroon, Anti-Hero, Snow on the Beach, You're on Your Own Kid, and Midnight Rain. Side B, Question, Vigilante, Bejeweled, Labyrinth, Karma, Sweet Nothing, and Mastermind. Love this. I love the fact on the front you got the album track list. I just think it's so different from what she's done before, and that's why I love it so much. I just think it's so cleverly done. If you have the Midnights clock, so if you have the CD clock or the vinyl clock, you also get a sticker as well that covers the barcode to make it a more aesthetically pleasing clock. So much effort was put into this, and that's why I just love these ones so much. And I would probably recommend these even over The Life of a Showgirl, especially for someone who's just getting into vinyl collection, because it's so good. Next up we have the Lavender Edition. This is the Midnights Lavender Edition. This is the Midnights Moonstone Blue. As you can see, the covers are very similar. The only difference is there is a slight like lavender haze, should I say, on the like photograph of Taylor on the front cover, and instead of the text being blue, the text is like purple. Same on the back, the numbers, instead of being in blue, they're in purple, and again you've got that slight lavender haze. on the back as well. So this is the same sort of situation. Because it's a Target version, it's very, very similar inside. You've got the same photographs. However, obviously this does have a different colour vinyl inside. So this is what that one looks like. It's just in a sleeve there. And this is probably still one of my favourite Taylor vinyl pressings ever. It did used to be my favourite because it's a marbled one and it looks fantastic. And I'll show it you with the light behind it as well, just because it looks so, so good. It's so beautiful. You can't even see how beautiful it is from this angle. But when you have it with the light behind it, it just looks absolutely incredible, and I really, really love this one. If I could recommend any of them, it would be this one, because it is the standard cover and you also have the first bit of the clock, and I think if you could only get one bit of the clock, it makes most sense, I think, to get the first bit. Maybe, at least that's what I think anyway. But yeah, I do absolutely adore this. I just think the colours are just so, so beautiful. The only downside is, even though this is the Target version, and obviously the Lavender CD has hits different on, this does not have hits different. This does not have its different on. You've got all of the same tracks from Lavender Haze down to Mastermind, which I do think is a bit of a shame, because like one of the selling points of the Target version, for Midnights at least, is having that different song. So it is a bit of a shame that they didn't put it on the vinyl. However, it could just be that it got to the max point for one LP and they didn't want to have a whole other LP just for one song, maybe. I have no idea if that's the case. I am just saying that. I actually have no idea, so we don't actually know. But anyway, we'll just pop her back in there as well, so she's nice and safe. But they are the first two versions of Midnights, and again, I just love them so much. Next up, we have the Blood Moon edition, and also with these, they're not rare. They are very similar to the Tortured Poets department, where you could get them in shops. Like, you could literally just go into the shop and find like Blood Moon, which is this one, so they're not hard to find at all. This is the next bit there, so you've got like the clock from part of 3, 4, 5, and then part of 6 as well on the back. Probably my least favourite back cover though, because there's just like not that much of Taylor, it's slightly blurry, but the front cover I think of this is gorgeous. You've got all of those same tracks from Lavender Haze down through Mastermind. Open her up, you've got a different photograph of Taylor there, which I love, and you've got the lyric booklet, which is very similar. It could be exactly the same. I think it is actually like pretty much exactly the same. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. I was going to say it got a different strip there, but it actually doesn't. It's the same colour strip for all of them, which it would be critical. Is like, I wish they maybe like done it with the CD, where the CD has a slightly different colour strip there to match the different variants. But again, that's like crazy level critical. I'm actually just more excited the fact that they have a lyric booklet inside the vinyl, as you can tell. So this is the Blood Moon little inner sleeve. Very, very gorgeous. I love the Midnights photo shoot. There's so many photos. This is what this one looks like. Again, it's another marbled one. This one, because it's more transparent, you can see it pretty well. Like, you don't really need to have it with the light behind it. Whereas with the Midnights one, with the lavender, it's very similar to the Folklore ones, where it looks better when the light's behind it. But because this is a transparent one rather than opaque, it looks like good up front. Obviously, it's not the best marbling in the world. You can see it's very kind of concentrated in one sort of like, I was going to say corner, but it's not really a corner, is it? It's a circle. But one sort of section. You've got a different kind of colour marblings there. You've got quite a vibrant orange, you've got like a brown, and it is really stunning. And when you like properly look at the detail, it looks great. But that is the Blood Moon version, which I do think is absolutely stunning. I really, really like it, and I love the cover for this. So we'll just pop her back in her little place where she belongs. What's next on the clock? It is my favourite, Mahogany. So if you've ever watched any of my vinyl collection videos before, you'll know this is probably my least favourite Taylor vinyl pressing ever. And I do not say that lightly. Gorgeous front cover, absolutely stunning. Gorgeous back cover, absolutely stunning. You've got the next bit of the clock, half of 6, 7, 8, half of 9. You open it up. It's absolutely beautiful inside. I love this photograph of Taylor. She looks great. We've got the lyric booklet inside. You know what we don't have? The beautiful, stunning mahogany vinyl. There is a vinyl inside, but this you can't count as mahogany. Mahogany is a type of wood. Mahogany is a type of wood. Think about what wood looks like. It's yellow. Wood is not yellow. I'm sorry. Like, it even looks even more yellow in person. Honestly, this lighting's doing it a favour right now because it is yellow. And then there's like a little bit of black marbling as well, just to rub it in. The fact it's not bright. Okay, it looks kind of mahogany in this light, and I'm kind of annoyed because you can't see. But the colour description was just so different from what it actually looked like. I'm sorry. It was meant to be a deep mahogany. It's yellow. It's yellow. Okay, I'm really annoyed because the lighting actually makes it look quite good. I'm really trying. It's that British lighting, because it's so dull and miserable, it makes the yellow look brown. But it's yellow. Just know it's yellow. So yeah. Yeah, I still have beef with this one record. Deeply unserious, but the only Taylor record I actually have beef with, and it's this one. So we'll pop her to the side, and then we have Jade Green. Love this cover. We've then got the back cover, so you've got half of 9, 10, 11, and then half of 12 on the back to make that full clock. And then you open her up, and it's so beautiful. I think this is the best one of all of them in terms of the vinyl packaging. I don't mean in terms of the actual colour of the record though. And this one I actually got signed. So there were a couple signed versions. No idea what the signature is. I was like, oh my god, I've lost it. I need to get a frame for this. I know I say this every single time, but I forget. But I got the signed vinyl. I only got one of these signed vinyl. They did have a signed version for each of the standard ones, so all of them apart from the lavender one. There was no lavender signed version released, but there was for the Moonstone Blue, Jade Green, which is this one, Mahogany and Blood Moon. They all had their own signed vinyl. I only got one of them, whereas I have all 4 of the CDs. But this is the gorgeous signature. I love her, and yes, I will frame her one day because she's gorgeous, but right now she's just being preserved. She's just being preserved in her little vinyl case. And then we'll open her up. So we've got this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sleeve there, and then we have the LP, which is again is stunning. I think the marbling on this one is a lot better compared to like the other ones I have with the Midnights. So it does look slightly blue, but I guess that's the jade aspect of the jade green. But yeah, it is really beautiful, and you've got kind of like that black marbling there, which just makes it look so fantastic. So yeah, they're my Midnights variants. I do wish we had a full version. I know people are like, oh my god, Taylor has too many vinyl variants, and then the Swifties are like, no, we want more. We want more. I always said I wish they'd done with the lavender version, because obviously a lot of fans, if they're going to collect all 4 to make the clock, they're probably also going to get the Target version. It would have been quite nice if the Target version had a full clock on the back, so then people who didn't want to buy all 4 variants to get a complete clock could then get it. Now don't get me wrong, I loved it in terms of a collector, like aspect of it. I loved that, but in terms of like thinking about the fans, I didn't like it as much. Like I understood why they did it. Obviously it's great in terms of marketing and it's really cool, but I do still wish that they had like a full one for people who didn't want to collect all 4. But anyway, that's my only really like complaint with that, because I do think these records are absolutely stunning. Even Midnight's Mahogany, even though it's, you know, even though it looks like that, I still think it's great. It's just the LP itself I don't particularly like, whereas like everything else in it is like absolutely stunning. So yeah, I really do love the Midnights pressings. I think they're fantastic. So if you could get your hands on any Taylor vinyl as a first-time vinyl collector, I, to be completely honest, will recommend Midnights over any of the other ones. Even though Torture Poets Department's cool, you know, obviously it's got the book-bound lyrics, the book-bound jacket, and then Life of Showgirl's obviously fantastic with like the little like different style inner sleeve and all of the photo shoots and everything. I just think the Midnights one is personally, in my opinion, the best one. Just especially for first-time collectors, I just think it's so cool. So if I could recommend any, it would be one of those. And I also love Midnights as an album. I do just wish that eventually, maybe on the 5-year anniversary of Midnights, we get a full version of the album on vinyl. I love the fact we got the 3AM edition. It meant that the album didn't leak, like the 3AM songs didn't leak. It was a complete surprise that we got all of those extra tracks, and then obviously she released like You're Losing Me, and then eventually we got like Hits Different on streaming and everything. There are just so many songs from Midnights that it would be nice if we just have one vinyl, like the anthology with the Torture Poets, but Midnights. Like Midnight, I don't even know what you call it, because you've got the Till Dawn, the Late Night edition, the 3AM edition, Midnights, the 24-hour edition. I don't even know. But yeah, I really love Midnights. I could yap about her for ages and ages. But alas, we've got other albums to cover. So let's get on with them. And now we're at Evermore. So I love Evermore as an album. I know she's very underrated. Some people hate Evermore. They are wrong. Evermore is a beautiful album. There are only really 3 sort of variants of this album. So you've got the opaque green, the transparent green, and then the red. However, the opaque and transparent, they were pretty much sold as the same ones. It just depends where they were sold and what place they were pressed in. So it is a little bit confusing in terms of that, but technically there are 3 pressings. The tracks on this are Willow, Champagne Problems, Gold Rush, 'Tis the Damn Season, Tolerate It, Nobody No Crime featuring Haim, Happiness, Dorothea, Coney Island featuring The National, Ivy, Cowboy Like Me, Long Story Short, Marjorie, Closure, Evermore featuring Bon Iver, and then the bonus tracks Right Where You Left Me and It's Time to Go. So all of the vinyl feature those 2 bonus tracks. It's not like Torture Poets Department where one vinyl features one bonus track, another one features the other. They all feature exactly the same. Now, what I was saying about lyric booklets before is, you can see it with this one right here, that some of the inner sleeves just had the lyric booklet on. Wow, this one's quite cool because the gatefold does just have big photos of Taylor. It's like, wow, love. The inner sleeves do just kind of have the lyrics, which is fine, but I think I personally prefer it when it has a bit more. But yeah, on one of them it does have like a full photo of Taylor, but then it has the lyrics on there. So like, it makes sense, but I also, as someone who really loves it when the inner sleeves are really like detailed and just fun, I prefer it when it's not just lyrics, but I love Evermore, so it's okay. So Evermore has this gorgeous green. I hope we get more pressings of Evermore in the future. It feels like kind of the forgotten about Taylor Swift album. You know, Folklore has so many pressings and Evermore has like technically 3. Which breaks my heart a little bit because she's such a beautiful vinyl. So this is what it looks like. It's this opaque green, really stunning colour. So I have the opaque one, and obviously I live in the UK, if anyone who is curious, if you couldn't already tell by the accent and the fact I have said I'm pretty sure I've said multiple times I live in the UK. I just always like to remind people because people seem to think I'm American and Australian. A lot for some reason. Anyway, and then we have the next one. So this one has the photo on one side and then the lyrics on the other, and then it's just that stunning green. So I really like this. I do just wish there were more pressings. I don't like the Target pressing for this. I don't own the Target pressing for this because it is that Target red. So with the Target reds, you can't get them in the UK. They are never officially released in the UK. Obviously, you can get them like secondhand and all of that, but there's no official channel you can officially get them through. Some places will buy them to sell them, but it's not like officially sold. Like, it is a Target exclusive because of that Target red colour, but I think the Target red doesn't go with Evermore whatsoever. It doesn't match the theme of the album. So I'm very, very glad that Target, for their like exclusive vinyl, now have moved away, at least for Taylor Swift, from that Target red to vinyl colour that actually fit with the album more, especially as you can then get them internationally too. But I think the only one it really works with is red. I'm sorry, I don't think it works with Evermore. And while Evermore hardly has any pressings, Folklore has a lot. Now there are 9 different pressings of Folklore. I think there are the 8 different like colourful ones, and then there's a Target red. I don't have the Target red because again, it doesn't match the album. It doesn't match the album. So you've got the standard edition. This is the In the Trees version. This is obviously the standard cover of Folklore. This is the version you're going to get in stores. Comes with a beige vinyl. So you open this up and it is stunning. The Folklore vinyl are so beautiful. I wish I had more of them. I only have 2 of the main pressings, which makes me so sad because I really want the full collection. But I only started collecting vinyl in 2021. I know, 1 year too late. And I was hoping maybe for the Folklore like 5-year anniversary they might repress them. They haven't. One day I'll get my hands on them, but they're so expensive resale. So, Folklore, the songs, you've got The One, Cardigan, The Last Great American Dynasty, Exile featuring Bon Iver, My Tears Ricochet, Mirrorball, 7, August, This Is Me Trying, Illicit Affairs, Invisible String, Mad Woman, Epiphany, Betty, Peace, Hoax, and the bonus track of The Lakes. And it's so, so stunning. I love this album so much. Folklore was one of those albums when you listen to it the first time and you were genuinely, this is so sad, but you were excited to wake up to listen to it again. I've not had that with many albums before in my entire life, but Folklore was one of those ones that I did. So you've got this beige colour vinyl. This one for me, it's just completely opaque. There's no like marbling behind it or anything like that, which is a bit of a shame because some of the other ones do have marbling when you like hold it up to the light, but this one doesn't. It's completely opaque, no marbling on my one, whereas some people's In the Trees do have marbling. I'm not one of them. Whereas with the other Folklore pressings, they're pretty much all marbled and they look beautiful. And I'll be able to show you one of them because I only have one. But this is what the inner sleeve looks like. So again, a lot of lyrics, very, very similar to Evermore. And then the 2 vinyl like variants, the 2 LPs inside are exactly the same in terms of the colour, but obviously they have different songs on. So yeah, they're just that like beige colour, which is nice. It fits Folklore very well, but I do just wish I had the other ones. But I'm very grateful for the ones I have. And obviously I'm incredibly grateful for this vinyl collection. And I always say this on any kind of vinyl collection video, that it doesn't make you more of a fan if you collect vinyl or CDs or whatever. You are just a Taylor Swift fan. You're just as much of a Taylor Swift fan if you just listen to the music. You don't have to like pay for all of these things and like buy all the latest merch and all of that. You know, I always want to make sure that my videos are a very like inclusive place for people. I never want people to feel like they're left out because they don't have a collection or anything. So I always want to put that out there, just because obviously like most people know that, but like especially if like you're younger watching this, like I just always want to stress it. Anyway, next Folklore. So this is the Meet Me Behind the Mall version. Now I got this in 2021, I think it was, and I actually got it from Taylor's US store. So some of them they did have in stock afterwards. So it might have been 2022 when I got this. I don't actually know when I got it. Someone might know. If anyone's watched my videos, I've probably said it in the past video. But this is a stunning record. Now, you'll see this cover and be like, Rachel, you literally just told us you don't have the target pressing. And that's because I don't! So this is the gorgeous, like, grey one. Now, when I show you like this, it looks a bit boring. But it's when you look at it with the light behind it, it looks stunning. It looks so good. And that is what's so beautiful about these Midnights variants, is how good they look with the light behind them. And that's why I would like more of them. But right now we have the two, and I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful for them. No idea how I managed to get off the US store, because usually they geo-lock music, meaning that if you don't have a US billing or shipping address, it won't ship to you. But I think this one just mustn't have been geo-locked, so I'm not going to complain because I managed to get my hands on it. So yeah, and then we have the same thing here where it is marbled when you have it up to the light. So they are my like standard sort of Folklore pressings, and they both include the lakes on them, so that bonus track of the lakes. Technically it was a bonus track because it was on the CDs and the vinyl, which weren't available when Folklore first came out, because Folklore was a surprise drop. We found out the day before, and it was dropped exclusively on streaming at first, and then obviously vinyl came later because it was kind of, you know, the pandemic at the time. And then we also have Folklore this isn't Folklore Long Pond. Then we have the Lakes. So this is the Lakes. It's got the Lakes album version on one side and the Lakes original version on the other. This is a Record Store Day. It is a 7-inch, as you can see there. I've got my little Record Store Day sticker for it. This was my first ever Record Store Day participating in. I was very lucky to get this. I have a whole vlog on it if you want to check it out. Me doing my little vlog when I did Record Store Day, because it's so much fun. And then this is what the gorgeous pressing looks like. It's a transparent one, but it does have a little bit of yellow in there. You can kind of see it in some lights. There's little bits of yellow and kind of gold. Some people are like, oh, is that the invisible string? Is it meant to be like that because of dirty pond water? Who knows? But I do really, really like it. I think it's such a great thing to have as part of my collection, and I'm very grateful that I managed to get my hands on this, because it's extra special, because obviously I did get it for a Record Store Day, so I actually had to queue up to get this, and I'd never done Record Store Day before, so it was a lot of fun to take part in it, really, and get to meet so many other, well, I mean, I hardly spoke to people. It was 5 AM in the morning, but you briefly speak to people, and it was really nice, and every time I've done it, it's been a really, really nice morning, so I have enjoyed it. But yeah, that was one of my Folklore Record Store Days. My next Folklore Record Store Day is Folklore Long Pond Studio Sessions. So it's got that Disney Plus sticker, because Folklore Long Pond was obviously on Disney Plus. Then the Record Store Day sticker. This one's cool because while I love the Lakes, it is only a 7-inch. So it's definitely more exciting when you get one that's like a full vinyl size. However, it's not a gatefold, so it was about £50. It's not a gatefold, which is a bit of a shame. However, it does have this gorgeous matte finish, and the tracks on all of this, obviously all the Folklore tracks, but they're the Long Pond Studio Sessions versions, and if you want to listen to those Long Pond Studio Sessions versions, you can. They are all available on streaming. Now, what I was also disappointed about is the inner sleeves. They're just plain black inner sleeves. The vinyl itself is gorgeous, it's this grey colour, however, it's not marbled like the other one. So it would have been quite nice if it was marbled. And obviously, because it's Folklore, it's quite a long album, you've then got 2 LP inside of this. I like this record, I do. And if you want to get it just to listen to Folklore Long Pond on vinyl, of course, go for it. However, if I was going to recommend a Folklore, like, vinyl, I would recommend going for one of the other variants of Folklore. They are slightly more rare in terms of being able to find them for a good price. This, you can kind of find it for about $150 for the Record Store Day. You can also then find the Chinese pressing of this, which is an official pressing. However, it is slightly cheaper because it's not restricted. So even though this was a Record Store Day exclusive, it was just a Record Store Day exclusive for this particular variant, whereas the Chinese pressing is a slightly different colour variant, and you can usually get it for just under £100 here in the UK if you look around for it. But obviously that one's not as rare, you're not going to get the same resale value as you would with an actual Record Store Day one. They're always going to resell for more because they're only available for one day and they can't be repressed. Just if you wanted a bit of like background to that. And Record Store Day, if you don't know, it's a day to celebrate independent record stores. Loads of artists participate. They release limited edition records. You can have Record Store Day first, where they're released first on Record Store Day, and then in the future they can be repressed. And then you have Record Store Day exclusives, where this particular pressing cannot be repressed. It can only really be sold on Record Store Day, and then afterwards, like online after Record Store Day, if they don't sell out in the actual records, on the actual Record Store Day itself. And it usually takes place in about April. So yeah, really love this, but don't like the fact it's not a gatefold, and I do think there are better folklore variants out there. If you are looking, like if you're watching this because you're like, oh, I might buy some of these via resale, if I can give my completely honest opinion on it, I would go for a different folklore variant rather than this one. But again, obviously it's up to you. With those other folklore variants, they can be repressed in theory, so the value might not remain. Sometimes it still does remain a little bit, obviously, because it's still the original pressing of it. Sometimes people prefer first pressings. With this one, because of the Record Store Day, if you keep that Record Store Day sticker, it's going to be worth slightly more. And I know some people consider that when they're getting their records. For me personally, I just like to get the ones that I want and that I like, but obviously everyone is different and that's okay. But anyway, I've talked really fast in this folklore section, so we're going to try slow it down for the next album, which is going to be Lover. And now we're on the Lover era. So the Lover album is the first album Taylor ever actually owned. So it will always be forever special. Some people didn't like Lover when it came out. I love Lover. Lover is so much fun. Yes, there are some songs that I skip, but I think this album as a whole is so beautiful to describe all the different versions of love and everything. And this vinyl is stunning. So you open it up and you've got that double gatefold, like the picture spreading across the gatefold, I think looks fantastic. The songs on here are, on side A, I Forgot That You Existed, Cruel Summer, Lover, The Man and the Archer. Side B, I Think He Knows, Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, Paper Rings and Cornelia Street. Then on the next LP, side C, Death by a Thousand Cuts, London Boy, Soon You'll Get Better featuring the Chicks. On here it says the Dixie Chicks, obviously they have now renamed to the Chicks. And then you've got False God and You Need to Calm Down. Side D, Afterglow, me featuring Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco, It's Nice to Have a Friend, and then Daylight. So that's what that looks like. And this is a stunning vinyl. I mean, again, the Lover photo shoot is really great. Don't like this bit as much with like the lyrics there, but I mean the LP inside of these are beautiful. I mean, you look at this and it is stunning. Like you've got that blue, very similar to the Midnight's Moonstone blue, with that kind of like transparent-ish blue, but it's not got any like, it's got a slight bit of marbling on, but not like actual proper marbling. So it's got a slight bit of marbling on, but not like actual proper marbling, whereas the Moonstone Blue is described as a marble vinyl. And then you've got this beautiful pink. Obviously I like that because pink is my favourite colour, so of course I like that. So this, you just have lyrics on both sides, and then you've got this pink. So this is an opaque pink and it is beautiful. I do really love this. This is going to be similar to one that I'm going to show you in the 1989 era as well, which I'll get to eventually, but I do love this so much. It is gorgeous, and I love the theming of it. Now, there is a black pressing of this now. When I first got this record, there wasn't a black pressing of it. There now is just a standard black, but this still is the standard pressing. Maybe in the future they'll just make it where the black one's available, but right now you can just kind of get both. And to be completely honest, the one you're probably going to get is going to be the pink and the blue, but definitely make sure you check when buying it, because you don't want to end up with the black one if you're looking for the pink and blue one. Then I have a really cool one. I have the original version of Lover Live from Paris. So Lover Live from Paris features two little vinyl here. So you've got this stunning, it's heart shapes. Everyone's like, how on earth does it play as if it's heart shapes? Let me show you. So you can just see there where the grooves start and where the grooves end based on that shiny bit. This bit here, I can go all the way down. This doesn't play. This is not playing any music. I can touch this. This is just extra material. This bit here, where the grooves are, you don't want to touch that because that's what actually plays. This here, and it is gorgeous. It is a really, really stunning vinyl. I love the pink, obviously, because it's me. And this features me, live from Paris, The Archer, live from Paris. And then side B, you've got Death by a Thousand Cuts, live from Paris, and Cornelia Street, live from Paris. And because there are more songs, we then have the blue one as well. And I keep these in anti-static sleeves. I will link all of the sleeves that I use below. For my actual LP, for the actual these bad boys, I put them in anti-static sleeves. And then for the exterior ones, I use outer sleeves, polythene outer sleeves to store it, just to protect the outer bit. So on side C, you've got The Man, live from Paris, and Daylight, live from Paris. And then on side D, you've got You Need to Calm Down, live from Paris, and Lover, live from Paris. These are really, really stunning, and these were pretty rare. However, Taylor's team did release in 2025 a new version of Lover, live from Paris. Now, it is not an exact pressing, so this original version will still go for more. However, most people didn't care about the exact pressing. What they wanted was, one, the Lover Live from Paris kind of concert on vinyl, but also the heart-shaped vinyl. I think for most people it was the heart-shaped vinyl that fully sold them on this, which I think is so fair. Now, I'm gonna be real, I ended up with 2 of these. Because obviously, when we found out it was coming to the store, everyone panicked because it's like, oh my god, like, it's gonna sell out immediately. It's gonna be like the original version. It's gonna be impossible to get. The resale's gonna be £600. So I got 2 because I was gonna get one for my friend, and then basically my friend also managed to get one. And it wasn't like it was particularly that rare either, because it was in stock for ages in the UK store. So I ended up with 2, and they're exactly the same. Sometimes that just happens, and then I just never got round to returning it. But I'll show you what this one looks like. So it is different. I really like this pressing though. Some people are like, oh, it's not as good as the original, but like, who cares? You know, people were so excited about having this that like, I don't think we needed to necessarily compare it to the original. And if anything, if we are going to do that, this one I think represents Lover better, because it's more like the Lover clouds, like with the pink and the blue, you know, it's like different kinds of sunsets. You know, when you get like the end part of the sunset where it's like pinky blue, but then you have the like yellowy pink sort of sunset that you get like at the start of a sunset. I just said sunset so many times then in one go. But like, I really, really love that. I think this is a stunning pressing, and I genuinely can't believe that people were complaining about it. Part of me does wish that they had just repressed the exact same one, just so then people could have got it and then the resale price would have completely dropped for the original. They have still dropped, don't get me wrong, it has dropped. So it used to go for like 600, whereas now it goes for like 300 to 400. So it has dropped quite a bit, but definitely not as much as obviously as it would have done if it was an exact repressing. However, I think most people just cared about the heart shapeness of it. So I am really glad that they did re-release this, because it was such like a fan in demand item. And you may be thinking that, like, Rachel, surely as a collector, someone who has the rarer version, surely wouldn't you not want them to do that so it retains the value? And no, because for me, I have this collection for my own enjoyment. I'm not planning on reselling it. Like, I don't buy them to resell them. I don't, like, obviously sometimes it's cool to have a look on Discogs and be like, wow. But like, I buy them for my own enjoyment, and I also like to see other people get to enjoy these same things by getting the chance to get them. So I actually really like it when they like repress things. So people being like, oh no, you wouldn't want them to, when I want like Folklore repressed, you'd be like, oh well, if you had them you wouldn't want it to be repressed. Like, yes I would. Like, I want it with Lover Live from Paris, I want it with this. Anyway, Reputation, there are 2 different LP for this, 2 different vinyl that you can get out there. There's the picture disc, which is the standard pressing you're going to find in stores, and then there's the like Black Friday, FYE, something like that. I don't even know what it is. I think it was a European exclusive. Whatever it is, it's like a transparent orange. It goes for quite a lot because it's more rare. However, I think this is nicer because some people don't like it because it's a picture disc, but I really like it. I think the Reputation photo shoot is great. I was definitely very worried about how Taylor might do the Reputation, like Taylor's version cover, because this is so perfect, and obviously we're not really gonna get that probably. We know we're definitely not getting Rep TV as a whole. We might get the vault tracks at some point, but yeah. I was very worried because like, how could she recreate this? It's so good. Anyway, the tracks on here, you got Ready For It, Endgame featuring Ed Sheeran and Future, I Did Something Bad, Don't Blame Me, Delicate, Look What You Made Me Do, So It Goes, Gorgeous, Getaway Car, King of My Heart, Dancing With Our Hands Tied, Dress, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, Call It What You Want, and New Year's Day. And all of these feature the same like tracks. There's no like deluxe version of Reputation out there. So there's no additional tracks right now whilst I have time of recording. So yeah, as I said, Reputation is kind of the first one one and like the first of the original kind of stolen albums, which obviously are no longer stolen because Taylor owns them, that has a really cool vinyl pressing. Now, some people don't like this because it's a picture disc, you know. People say that picture discs don't play as well. That's kind of like the general consensus with it. A lot of people think they don't play as well. You know, it just depends. I think, while true, I really like how they look. So this is what the inner sleeve looks like. I know I have complained a lot in this video about inner sleeves just having lyrics, but for this I think it works because it's like that newspaper style, which is very like on brand for Reputation. And then you've got this here. So this is one side of the picture disc, and then you got the other side. Like, I think it's quite cool. It is the only picture disc, to the best of my knowledge, that I own as well. So I quite like it. I do think, yeah, they probably should have just another version for people who don't want the picture disc. You know, a standard black pressing for most albums, it doesn't really work, but with Reputation it could kind of work. It'd be really cool to maybe have a split one that's like half black, half white. That would be quite a cool like pressing to have. But yeah, I know some people really, really don't like it, but I don't mind. I think it's cool. So yeah, there you've got the other inner sleeve with more lyrics, and then you've got other pictures of Taylor. So you've got there's gorgeous pictures there, and then you've also got like the album cover as well on that side. So I really, really like this. I know other people don't, but I like it. And that's okay. You know, if you like something, it's okay to like things. People will try to tell you, you can't like this because I don't like it, and I don't believe in that. You can like whatever you want, unless it's Midnight's Mahogany Edition. Unless it's Midnight's Mahogany Edition. So I'll just pop her back in there to re-sleeve later. I've not re-sleeved any of these on the go. Am I going to regret this later? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we're in the 1989 era. We'll start off with the stolen version because it's kind of the least exciting of the different versions for 1989, because we do obviously have a Taylor's version for 1989. This is what it looks like. I do love the original cover. I think it's so, so great. Open her up and then you've got this. As you can see, it is the lyric booklet, just reformatted to fit into the gatefold, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You could definitely tell her later albums they focused a lot more on making it for vinyl when they sell it for vinyl, because obviously vinyl are quite expensive. The tracks on here are Welcome to New York, Blank Space, Style, Out of the Woods, All You Had to Do Was Stay, Shake It Off, I Wish You Would, Bad Blood, Wildest Dreams, How You Get the Girl, This Love, I Know Places, and Clean. There was no deluxe edition, to the best of my knowledge, released on vinyl. And these are the inner sleeves. Yeah, so the inner sleeves aren't the most exciting things in the world. They are quite literally just paper inner sleeves. They're just paper inner sleeves. And you've just got a standard black pressing. Now there is another pressing of this. There is another pressing of this, and my goodness, do I wish I had it. It's the Record Store Day one. 2018. It's beautiful. It's this like transparent pink marble. It's beautiful. It's one of my most in demand. That's not the word. In search of, better. That's a better word. Most in search of Taylor like piece of merch out there, but it goes for like 1,500, and then there's also a signed version of it as well that's out there that goes again for like crazy prices, so I don't own it. However, when they pressed it, it was a Record Store Day first pressing. Technically they could repress it at some point, so maybe one day they will, if they could do like celebrationary pressings for Taylor owning her masters. That would be really, really cool as a fan, as someone who really wants to get those Record Store Day ones but didn't collect records back in 2018. But yeah, I would really, really love to get my hands on that one day, hopefully. But I will not be paying those resale prices because they are wild. They are truly, truly wild for it. And then we've got 1989 Taylor's version, which are just so much better in terms of the vinyl pressing. So the standard version is this bad boy. This is what the standard version looks like. This is the standard cover you're going to see on streaming. The tracks on here, we're gonna struggle reading this. Honestly, my one fault with 1989 Taylor's version is the track list. Who thought this was a good font to use? Who thought? To be fair, it's a fine font because it's like the handwriting font, but it's impossible to read. It's so, so small. Okay. Welcome to New York, Blank Space, Style, Out of the Woods, All You Had to Do Was Stay, Shake It Off, I Wish You Would, Bad Blood, Wildest Dreams, How You Get the Girl, This Love, I Know Places. I was like, did I already read that? I Know Places, Clean. Then you've got the deluxe tracks, Wonderland, You Are in Love, New Romantic. So they're the deluxe tracks from the original version of 1989. Then you've got the vault tracks. So you've got the one beginning with S. You've got Say Don't Go. You've got Now That We Don't Talk, Suburban Legends, and Is It Over Now. Beautiful, beautiful tracks. Really, really love it. And It is a stunning gatefold. So when you open this up, it's kind of like a film reel almost, and I think it's really cool, and the different versions have different photographs in as well, so I do really like this. It is absolutely stunning. So this is the blue version. So obviously, as you can see, you've got the lyrics there with a photo of Taylor. You've also got the album prologue as well. This is the stunning blue, so it's this opaque pastel-y colour, very, very 1989, so it is really, really good. I do like this, and you've got 2 LP inside of this, because obviously with any of the Taylor's versions, there are a lot of tracks on it. So you've got 2 LP, and obviously you've got 2 different sleeves, so I'll just get the other sleeve out for you as well. There you go, so more photos of Taylor, more lyrics, and then the LP inside is exactly the same in terms of that beautiful colour. Now, this is the standard version, the version you're going to get everywhere. However, these are like Midnights and Torture Poets Department, where you're going to be able to find these pressings in shops. They aren't hard to find. With the next one, this is technically the Target edition. This is the Tangerine version, and I have 2 of these. So this is a similar situation as to why I have 2 of the anthology. It's because I ordered one, I opened it, it was faulty. I contacted the store, they sent me a full replacement, and I didn't have to send the other one back, so I just have 2. So as you can see, it is pretty much exactly the same inside. Everything is the same, all of the tracks are the same. The only difference with this particular version is the colour of the LP. So it is this gorgeous tangerine colour. So that's what that one looks like. Very, very pretty, and I think it's great that Target did do the tangerine version rather than just a bright red, because that bright red obviously would not have fit with the album whatsoever. And I won't show you the other one because we are running low-ish on time. I don't want to gap too much, but it's the exact same colour as that first one I just showed you there. And then we have the aquamarine green. Oh, and what I forgot to mention is on the back of these, she did the same thing she did with Midnight, where if you have the back covers, you turn them around, it will spell out something. So obviously with Midnight, it was a clock. With this one, it spells out 1989. So you've got a 1 on the first version. You've then got a 9 and then 2 8s. No, you've got 2 9s, 1 8. I don't know what the album's called. So this is one of the 9s. This is the Sunset Boulevard Yellow. I don't think it's called Sunset Boulevard. Is it just Sunset Yellow? What's it called? Sunrise Boulevard Yellow. Sunrise, not sunset. So this is the yellow variant. As you can see, the photos in the gatefold are different, which I think is fantastic. For someone who variant collects, it's a lot of fun when you open them up and there are different photos on the inner sleeves, on the gatefold. It just makes it more fun. This one's kind of similar, obviously, to the tangerine. I mean, it's not actually that similar. It's similar-ish. It depends how you define similar. It's yellow, the other one's orange. They're very similar colours. So yeah, this is the gorgeous yellow one. Do really like this. I think the inner bits aren't that exciting, but I do like the fact that it has a different number of seagulls depending on what side. So this is disc 1, side A, so you've got 1 seagull. Disc 1, side B has 2 seagulls, and then the other have 3 and 4, which I think is quite cool, because it tells you kind of which one. I think that's cool. But I think I still prefer the aesthetic of the original version of 1989 with the Polaroids. However, I do still really, really love this. I think it is great, and I think it's really stunning. I also love the album cover for 1989 Taylor's version as well. I think it's just so beautiful. And there's obviously multiple different covers as well, because, you know, we have different versions. So this is the aquamarine green. I just have my little gatefold, not my little gatefold, my little hype sticker that I need to stick on the actual sleeve, which I've not done yet, so we'll do that at some point. I think I needed to re-sticker it though, because it wasn't sticky enough to stick on my outer sleeve. But that's what I do with my hype stickers for those curious. So the back cover, you've got an 8 with Taylor eating ice cream. Open this up, you've got new different pictures of Taylor from that same photo shoot. This definitely has the biggest photo shoot out of all the Taylor's versions, and it was the last Taylor's version we got before she reclaimed her masters. This is obviously aquamarine green. It's this gorgeous pastel green colour. I think all the colours inside of this are so beautiful because they're like these pastel-y colours, and I think it represents 1989 great. Personally, I always do prefer marbled vinyl to opaque vinyl. I just think they're a little bit more exciting to open when there's slight differences between them. However, these are still really gorgeous and fit the album theme really, really well. So I do really like these. I think they're really great to have as part of your collection. Now, because all of the tracks on these are the same, if I had to recommend any of them, honestly, I would just go based on the cover you like most, or the different vinyl colour you like the most. So for me, in terms of the vinyl colour I like the most, it would be this one, which is the Rose Garden Pink, because I love pink. However, if I was only going to get one, I personally would go via cover of it, so I would go for either the tangerine or the blue, just because then it's the original cover, sorry, should I say. But obviously everyone's different. Like this one, you're not basing it off songs, you're either basing it off the LP and how much you like the LP, like colour, or you're basing it off how much you like the cover. But this one, I think the Gorgeous Pink is very, very similar to that pink that we had obviously in Lover 2, and it is also an opaque one, but I would have loved to have seen it with a slight bit of marbling. I think that would have been quite fun. Kind of like the Folklore marbling, where it's still opaque, but you then hold it up to the light and it's got like nice marbling behind it. I would have personally liked that a lot. However, I do think it fits with the album, so I'm not complaining too much, I promise. Complaining a little bit, but not crazy level complaining, only slight complaining. But I do love that all the pictures in this are different. It just makes it so much fun for people like me who like to collect them all. So there we go. And then you open that up and that's what that one looks like there. So they are all of my pressings of 1989, with both 1989, the original version, which I only have one of. One day we'll get that record store day one. And then 1989 Taylor's version, well, technically 6 different versions of that I have. Well, 6 versions. There are 5 different versions, but then obviously I have 2 of one. But yeah, let me know. Out of these, when there's different variants, I would love to know in the comments your favourite covers and your favourite colours of the different ones. I just love chatting all things vinyl with you guys in the comments, so let me know down below. My first ever Taylor Swift vinyl was actually red, but not the original version of Red Taylor's version. So I was like, I'm never going to get into vinyl collecting. You know, vinyl collecting, it's such an expensive hobby. It's just not something I'm particularly interested in. There's so many other things that, like, I want to collect instead. I like CDs. And then Red Taylor's version came out, and you know, I go into the store on release day to buy my CD, as I do every single time there's a new Taylor Swift album. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have a look. I'm just gonna have a look at the vinyl. I'm just gonna have a look. And I pulled it out. I was with my dad. I pulled it out. I was like, oh, this looks so nice. So I think I bought the CD, and my dad was like, you should get it. You clearly like this. Just get it. Treat yourself. Blah blah. And I was like, no, let me walk around and let me see. And then at the end of like our little shopping trip, I went straight back and I bought myself the vinyl. And I'm so unbelievably glad I did. It's a gorgeous thing, and obviously it started off my vinyl collection. So thank you, Red Taylor's version, for existing. I have 2 versions of this. I have the Red Taylor's version, the standard black pressing, and then one of my friends very, very nicely and kindly also gifted me the Red Taylor's version Target red pressing. I know I have just bashed the Target red pressing over and over. That's when it doesn't fit the album. It fits this album perfectly because it's literally called Red. So this is what the gatefold looks like. I love Red Taylor's version. I think it's fantastic. I think Red as a whole is such a fantastic album. Love the fact we've got All Too Well there and the handwritten lyrics to All Too Well, the 10-minute version. The only thing I don't like is the back cover because it's a little bit hard to read that thing. So I'll just show you very briefly what the Target red one looks like. So there are 4 LP inside of this. I'm not going to show you all 4 because they're all exactly the same. No one needs to see that over and over again. But this is the gorgeous Target red, and I think it does work absolutely perfectly with this record. So I'll let the Target red have its day for once. I will not bash the Target red for once. Because it is really, really stunning, to be fair. It is like really, really gorgeous. Then we also have the black pressing as well, so I'll just show you one of those too. I just need to find out which one has the black one in. I think it's this one. The black pressing, it is boring. Obviously, it is just a standard black pressing, so it's nothing like special. However, this album is so special, so technically it is kind of special. I'll also just show you the different inner sleeves as well. Because obviously, you know, you've got a lot of tracks on this album. So you've got the lyrics there, you've then got photos from the Red tour, which I do like. Obviously, I don't always like it when there are just lyrics on the inner sleeves, as I've said many times already, but I do really like this. So then you've got more Red tour ones, which I really, really like. I think it's this next. More Red tour photos. But we did get a little bit of a photo shoot for this. It was kind of mixed in with the Evermore photo shoot. They kind of were done at the same time almost, so it's like a half of a photo shoot, but I love the album cover for this so much. It looks great. I mean, let me just show you all how beautiful this is. It's just so beautiful. I'm so unbelievably glad I got this. Shout out to my dad for being like, you should get it. You're so right, Dad. I should get it, and I did, and I'm so, so grateful because it is absolutely stunning. It is very, very beautiful. This goes for about £50-ish. You can get it in stores, so it's not like a hard find. I think the Target red pressing, I think maybe in the US you can still find it in some Targets as well. When I went to the US recently, I went into Target and they still had the Evermore red one, and they still had like the Lover Journals and stuff, so they definitely still have some of the older like Taylor like records. Obviously not that much older, but like kind of older. So they are the only versions of Red I actually have on vinyl, because when I first obviously started collecting vinyl, it was for Red Taylor's version, so I didn't want to then buy the original version of Red, because at the time obviously it was a stolen version. I didn't want to support that and scoot abroad and everything, so I didn't buy it. And then the re-records, Taylor, you know, re-recorded the album, so I bought the re-record, and I just had no really desire to have the original version. Now obviously I do kind of want it because she owns her albums, but I've avoided getting it just because well, I'm thinking maybe they might repress them at some point. They might have like the new copyright at the bottom, so I'm just kind of waiting for that really, to see if they repress them or see if they do some nice pressings that aren't just like standard black, because right now the main pressing you get of the original version of Red would be that standard black. And you may be like, Rachel, but you have the original version of 1989 Speak Now. That is because the Taylor's version came out after I'd already started collecting vinyl, whereas with Fearless and Red TV I only started collecting vinyl after the Taylor's version had come out. So this is the original version of Speak Now. There is also a Record Store Day version of this. I don't really want that Record Store Day one as much, because it's kind of like a smoky sort of grey one, which I don't like as much. Whereas with the 1989 pink one, I like that. As I said, her older albums, the original ones, it's basically the lyric booklet reworks. When you open it up, it's not really that exciting. I'd say this is slightly less like the lyric booklet rework compared to, obviously, the 1989, which is very much just the lyric booklet, just copy and pasted. And the tracks on this, you've got Mine, Sparks Fly, Back to December, Speak Now, Dear John, Me and the Story of Us, Never Grow Up, Enchanted, Better Than Revenge, Innocent, Haunted, Last Kiss, Long Live. There was no like deluxe version ever released, I don't believe, on vinyl for this. And then the LP itself, as I said, very standard. It just comes in the same kind of white sleeves that the original version of 1989 did, and it is that standard black pressing. But we do have all three variants of Speak Now Taylor's versions, and these are some of my favourite Taylor pressings actually out there. I think they're so gorgeous. Now I love the colour purple, so obviously I was going to like these. My only fault with them is the fact that they do actually all have the same cover. I wish they had changed the cover slightly, because she did do a photo shoot for Speak Now Taylor's version, so it would have been quite nice if they had changed the cover from, let me just show you, because obviously when I was putting them on my wall, people were like, Rachel, why do you just have the same album 3 times? Which is a valid question, but it's slightly different. So yeah, they are all the same cover. But let me show you these. So you've got the Violet, Orchid and Lilac. So I'll just open her up. This one is quite a thick one, so this one actually doesn't... You can get it in those polythene sleeves, but sometimes I just put it in this. I know, PVC sleeves, yada yada yada, but to be fair, they're fine. They're okay. They're doing well. But they just fit slightly better in these. That's why this is in a different sleeve. So you open it up, it looks like this. You've got the album prologue there and this gorgeous picture of Taylor. And because you've got quite a lot of tracks on Speak Now TV, you then have 3 LP inside. So not as many as Red Taylor's version, where we have a lot. So we have 4. This only has the 3. So I'll show you the inner sleeves, and I'll just show you one of the LP to save on time, because the LP itself is exactly the same kind of for each of them. But these are the 3 different sleeves. So you've got a mix of photos and lyrics, so fair enough. And this, we have the gorgeous pressing. Which one actually is this? I think this is Orchid? I don't actually know. One sec. Is it? This is Orchid. At least Orchid is what it says on the hype sticker I have included in this, so I think it's Orchid, but I may have put it in the wrong one. So we think this is Orchid. Very beautiful. It's an opaque, and it is marbled, and it just looks really, really beautiful. It is a stunning pressing. I think my favourite one is the Lilac one, which we'll get to, which I think is the Target. So this is Orchid. We think this is Orchid. But they're just so similar. You know, if they had different covers, it'd be easier to distinguish them all. And you know what I would really love? Obviously this would make it ridiculously expensive, but instead of having the same colour LP 3 times, is they have 3 different LP. Like, they have 3 different colours already. Why not just split them up across the 3? I know some people who got all 3 actually did that with their pressings. They just, like, swap them. So for one, it would have one of one, one of another, and one of another, and then for the other ones, they put it in the other, which was quite clever, but it would be nice if that's how it was released. This one we think is the violet version, based on the fact I put the hype sticker on this outer sleeve. The additional tracks on this, so you've got Ours and Superman. You don't have Haunted Acoustic on here. People always ask, like, where's Haunted Acoustic? Where's Haunted Acoustic? It's not on here because Haunted Acoustic is the same vocals. So she didn't re-record it because it's the same vocals. It's kind of like a remix, sort of like the Torture Poets Department ones. So all the pictures inside are the same. Again, like, I wish they had changed them slightly, but they've learned, and they've changed it since. This we think is the violet one, so this is the darkest one of all, and this is Orchid. No, which one is it? Which one's this? They're too similar. Violet. Okay, this is the violet one. I don't believe in colours that aren't colours. It's purple. They're all just shades of purple. I get confused. It's like how I don't believe in plurals that don't end in S. Like, vinyl. Why doesn't it end in S? I understand, but I don't like it. Anyway, so here we have this. Again, really, really gorgeous. You've got that stunning marbling there. I mean, it's fantastic. These are great pressings. It's just a shame that the packaging of the vinyl itself isn't as good compared to some of the more recent ones. However, it is a Taylor's version, so, like, I do get it. Because, like, Taylor's versions, they just didn't really have as much, like, I don't want to say effort, because, like, effort was put into them, but not the same, like, dedication as, like, a full album. Because obviously with a full album, you know, you're developing this album in the new visuals, whereas with these older versions, you wanted the original visuals. You've already made visuals for this album in the past, but you've had them stolen from you, so it's very difficult, so I get it. But this, I think, is my favourite of all. As I said, it's the same photos inside, but I think this is my favourite. So I think this is the lilac one, which I think is the Target pressing, and it is beautiful. You can just see, like, the detail on that is absolutely stunning. It just looks slightly pink. Probably that's why I like it so much. But yeah, this is one of my favourite Taylor vinyl pressings ever. I think the Life of a Showgirl Target variant has overtaken it. However, I do think this is absolutely stunning. So if you could get your hands on any of these, honestly, I would. I think it goes lilac, violet, then orchid is probably my ranking of them. But I just think they're so, so beautiful. And I do love the cover for Speak Now Taylor's version. I do. I just wish they had changed some of the imagery up with the different variants, but obviously you've got to bear in mind most people don't collect all three variants, they just collect one like a normal person. But I'm strange and I'm a collector, so I like to have multiple different ones because I'm weird. But obviously as a collector it would have been nice. However, I do still really, really love it, and I love the album. Then Fearless Taylor's version. So Fearless Taylor's version was the first of the Taylor's versions, and you can really see a difference between them. You can see how it's gone on. So we had Fearless Taylor's version, then we have Red Taylor's version, then it was Speak Now, then 1989, and you can really see how 1989 she really changed how much, you know, effort was really put into the vinyl packaging and the photo shoots and everything, because she saw that people really invested in those Taylor's versions. Whereas with Fearless Taylor's version, she didn't know people were going to fully invest in it, which is completely fair. So you open this up and it is a weird one because it's like a 3. It's a 3 one, which is really, really cool. And obviously it opens up slightly different. So you've got a vinyl in here, and then you've got a vinyl in the middle. It's a weird one. It is kind of just like the lyric booklet reworked slightly. However, it does look really good. And obviously on this bit there with the credits, it's slightly different. But the inner sleeves themselves, unfortunately, they're just plain white ones. They are just plain white ones. However, it is a gorgeous record. So it's this gold with a slight bit of marbling. There was a Target red pressing of this. Again, did it need a Target red? No. But obviously, you know, as time has gone on, Target have changed it where they have nicer variants for their exclusives, which is great. I'm not going to show you all of the LP inside of this because there are literally 3 exactly the same, but the inner bits are slightly different. If you want to see a full unboxing, I have done a full unboxing on that if you want to check that out. But again, we're getting towards the end of the video, and we only have 3 more vinyl to go. I know, it's sad. Now, I don't have Fearless Platinum Edition on vinyl. Again, it's another one I'm kind of waiting for them to do repressing, so then maybe I'll consider it. But right now, I'm not really considering it because it is just a plain black pressing. And we have Debut, so right now we don't have a Debut Taylor's version, but it is looking like we'll get one probably for the 20-year anniversary. This one, surprisingly, isn't just the lyric booklet reworked, it's just a bunch of lyrics and a couple of photos. but that's what it looks like. That's the back cover. And then you have the LP inside. Again, just white, plain sleeves, and then just a plain black pressing. So not that exciting. But again, really, really glad to have it as part of my collection because Debut is obviously such a special album because it's Taylor's first album. Everyone calls it Debut. Its official title is Taylor Swift, but everyone just calls it Debut because it's weird just to say Taylor Swift because they're like, well, Taylor Swift's what? Like, which album? And you're like, the Debut. It just makes more sense. And then we also... Finally, we have 2 more to go. We're really trying to rush it to the end of this. One, because I live in the UK, it's getting autumny. The sun, I mean, we've not had great sun, we've not had great lighting for this, but I was like, I want to do this video today. I've already thought about it, we're doing it today, but the lighting hasn't been great. But at least we have some natural lighting because I always like to show it in natural lighting. So first up we have Teardrops on My Guitar. This is what it looks like. Gorgeous, incredible. So you've got Teardrops on My Guitar, Teardrops on My Guitar Live Acoustic 2007. This is a 7-inch and it is gorgeous. It's this stunning blue little 7-inch there. Very, very beautiful. I really love this. I was gifted this, so thank you so, so much because it is beautiful. And we also have the Tim McGraw one as well. There are some other Taylor 7-inches I'd love to get my hands on, so I don't have any of the Cardigan ones. I don't have the Me ones because, again, I didn't start collecting vinyl until 2021. So a lot of ones that I really love to get my hands on that I don't have them yet, but one day I'll get them. So this is the Tim McGraw, so it features Tim McGraw and Tim McGraw Live Acoustic 2006. This is limited to 4,000 and I have number 575. And this is just a plain light black one, but it is cool because obviously it is a little 7-inch. So even though it is a plain black one, it's still a very cool one. But yeah, that is everything. We've done it. We've done it. It's always such a relief. I'm just now trying not to think about the fact that I have 50 Taylor Swift vinyl just around my room that need resleeving. Yeah, that's something we're going to have to do. So I hope you'll appreciate that. Please just know that I'm now going to have to resleeve everything, so I hope you like this video. Based on the amount of effort I'm going to have to put into resleeve everything and put them all back in boxes and everything. It's going to be chaos, so please like the video if you enjoyed it, because I'm not going to enjoy this resleeving process. But yeah, thank you so much. If you've got any questions, please, please, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. If you've enjoyed this video, you want to see more Taylor Swift videos, please subscribe. It helps me out. It helps the channel out loads. It would mean the absolute world. I do have a members only section if that's something you're interested in. Obviously, I still post free content for everyone. I just post additional content on there with early access and like exclusive podcasts, those sort of things. If you want to check that out, you can. I'll put the link in the description. If you've got any questions about any of these, this is why like I make these videos for people if they have questions, and also because I love to yap. So I do hope you've liked this video. It's been long. We've talked quite fast because I wanted to get it over and done with. Even though I love talking about them, it's like there's just so much at once. But yeah, hope you've liked it. Let me know if you've got any questions, subscribe, all of that. Thank you so much for watching. Well, thank you so much for watching. I was going to say for watching and listening, but it ended up being a mix of the both. It didn't work. The mix of the both. I've talked for too long. I've forgotten words. Thank you so much. And as always, have a great day.